Mac Glover Productions.
Chapter 15, Section 7, Testing Stage, by Matt Glover. Testing Stage. Once a system has been developed and has passed alpha testing, beta testing can be undertaken. Versions of the software are normally given to a relatively small group of users, known as beta testers, with the aim of detecting any remaining bugs and testing the software's usability under real-world conditions. This is a very effective use of testing because of the fact that normal users and potentially customers can use the software, and then the developers can get insight into any little bugs or complaints from the customers because of the way that they would use it as they normally would the normal software. So they're very helpful. And at this point in time, during the beta testing, the first pilot test has been done, so the major bugs have usually been undercovered, but there's still some infinitesimal bugs that may not have been noticed by the software testers. And one way that some beta testers get into the beta test where they can test out the software before it comes out is by possibly pre-ordering software or putting their name on an email list and getting it emailed to them. And that's some of the ways that they can get into the beta testing. Beta testing continued. Beta testing can last anywhere from a few weeks to several months. Generally, beta testing only takes place once the software has been feature frozen, which basically means that no new features will be added before the release of the software. So this is an example of beta testing. The screenshot is that of with the Windows 8 operating system beta. And the great part about this was Microsoft was able to see the bugs and problems with the operating system, and they're also able to get customer feedback as well, which really helps them to know how great their operating system is, or the faults with it, so they can improve it before release. Bug tracking system. A bug tracking system is used to keep a list of all software bugs, sometimes called requests for enhancement, in a central location, and allows them to be prioritized and annotated. For example, with details of how and when the bug occurs, the desired result, and the actual result. Bug tracking is an important part of the quality assurance process. Another thing about bug tracking systems is that companies that use them extensively are often referred to as very good software companies, in that they're very careful about their product and want to keep as few bugs as possible. And these bug tracking systems help them to do that. I mean, it helps them to ensure that their product is at the optimum level in which they have the least amount of bugs and problems or faults with their software. I'm sure that you've encountered the screenshot below in many instances. It's a very familiar thing to many people who often use computers and have programs close on them. The funny thing is that the default option is don't send, as the bold rectangle is around that, yet these error reports can be really very effective in finding bugs in different types of software. So these Windows error reports have actually enabled the Windows team to fix 29% of all Windows XP errors with Windows XP SP1. Over half of all the Microsoft XP errors were fixed with Office XP SP2. And the thing is, the way that this works is that when you send an error report, it sends a report to Microsoft of the issue that you had and exactly the circumstances. So that way they could tell what the problem is and the exact circumstances, so they can take this into consideration and fix all the problems. And this is why it's been so successful in finding errors and fixing them. And the success of this is based in part on the 80-20 rule, where the error reporting data reveals that there's a small set of bugs that's responsible for the vast majority of the problems users see. Fixing 20% of code defects can eliminate 80% or more of the problems users encounter, which means that the code defects, a little amount of code defected will affect many users and cause many problems. So it's very important to fix the code to ensure that the experience is great for the user. User acceptance testing. User acceptance testing involves the user checking the system to ensure that it meets their requirements. A system may pass alpha and beta testing, but still fail to comply with the user acceptance testing. So it's really important part of the handover process. An example might be that a part of a system might be too slow to use for the client, a problem not caused by a software bug but still unacceptable to the client. Other features might be missing as well, or might not quite work as they were intending to, due to problems in the requirements specification. These issues need to be corrected and resolved before the client can formally accept the software. So this is an overview of the user acceptance testing, the steps involved in the process. So the first step is the analysis of the requirements. One of the most important activities in the user acceptance testing is to identify and develop test scenarios, and they're derived from the following documents: project charter, business use, case process, flow diagrams, business requirements document, BRD, system requirement specifications, SRS. The next step is the creation of the UAT plan. The UAT plan, test plan, outlines a strategy that will be used to verify and ensure an application meets its business requirements. So it documents the entry and exit criteria for UAT and test scenarios and test cases approach and timelines of testing. Next is the identify test scenarios and test cases step. Includes identifying the test scenarios with respect to high-level business process and creates test cases with clear test steps. Test cases should sufficiently cover most of the UAT scenarios. Business use cases are input for creating the test cases. The next step is preparation of test data. It is advisable to use live data for UAT. Data should be scrambled for privacy and security reasons. The tester should be familiar with the database flow as well. The next step is to run and record the results, the test run. It's important to execute the test cases and report bugs, if any, because it ensures that the software is running smoothly or not. And then it should be retested until the bug, once the bug gets fixed. And then test management tools can be used for execution. The last step is to confirm business objectives have been met. Business analysts or UAT testers need to send a sign-off mail after the UAT testing. After sign-off, the product is good to go for production. Deliverables for UAT testing are test plan, UAT scenarios, and test cases, test results, and defect log.
And here are the sources and credits. Creator of introduction and closing videos and PowerPoint presentation is me, Matt Glover, and then under that are the links that I use for the information presented in this PowerPoint.